Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday, August 18th, 2022. I'm Jackie Glass Mama, Navy Vet Certified Doer, and your laced up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th Districts. I don't know why I say districts plural. I don't know why I say it plural, but I do. So we're going to get ourselves all set up here. I'm hoping that this week was fruitful for you the way it was fruitful for me, because you're a certified doer. This we know. This we know. First, I want to talk about what's going on over the past week now. If you've been around a little bit, you know there's a lot that we're holding in our hands. Good morning. Hey, I didn't see it. I sent you a little text. I didn't see it. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna pull it together today as we sort of get you all. Good morning. Good morning. I'm gonna try to do my interactions as we go along. All right. We're going to try to make it a great day today. Not a whole lot really this morning. What I will say again is I'm just reminding you guys that we do have elections going on right now, and I think that's something I have a responsibility to say right now in the city of Norfolk. We have local elections for all of our wards, right? Ward 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you're not familiar with the ward system in the city of Norfolk, it's mandated, right? Like, we tend to do things when we tell man, y'all can't do that. Yeah, y'all can't do that anymore. So our city is broken down into 7 different wards, 5 smaller wards, and 2 super wards. The 5 smaller wards are segmented around the city, right? With Ward 5 up top, Ocean View, Ward 1 over by the base area, Ward 2, Lambert's Point, Park Place area, Ward 3 is the center of the city over here where like the Croc Center is, Ward 3, Ward 4 is down from like Norfolk State all the way down to Berkeley Compostela over Tidewar Gardens. And what am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Ward 2 has downtown and stuff. And then the 2 super wards cut the city in half. So everyone in our city, as far as the local government, have 2 local representatives. Why am I saying this? Because as your state legislator, I recognize that all politics are local, right? I mean, people say this and it may sound cliche the more you hear, but if you're hearing something all the time, it's probably something that you need to know, that the majority of the interactions with your daily quality of life are going to happen with your local government. That's your school board, that's your city council. And I need you all to engage. I need you to do the thing, right? Figure out who's on the ballot. You know, again, we talked about this on Tuesday, that there is same day registration now. Like that's a whole thing. Ask your neighbors, like, hey, did you know there's an election coming up? Did you know? Because if you didn't know, you know, now you know, and that it's a big deal. Especially what we're going to see coming down from school boards and things like that. Again, I think I've said this before, that the school board, the elected officials on the school board have the hardest job, the hardest elected official job in the country right now. And we're going to need to be supportive. And right now, you know, I've had several complaints about not being able to speak at the school board, right? Are we walking towards fascism with how we deal? Like, it's real. So please, I am urging you all, just as you engage here in the morning, that you also engage with what's happening with your local government, with our local government. Respectfully, if you're in other places and spaces, just double checking to make sure. And I wanted to put in the chat. I was going to put to go check and see what your ward is and who your representatives are, and then who's on the ballot. Who's a response to speaking? I'm sorry. Response to speaking was that the public can be written, just not spoken. Yeah, that's, I mean, and so what Isabel is saying is that right now the public can't. It's interesting to say public comment and say it can only be written because so right now the school board can, if you're talking at the school board, you cannot make a spoken public comment. It can only happen in written form. I've gotten some folks that complained about it, and I just said, you need to reach out to the board chair and let them know, and reach out to your representative and let them know that that's an issue for you, and as kind of get down to the why. I'm going through. Vince sent me some stuff. Yep, find your ward. Thank you. I was going to say on air, but also to find out who's running, you can go to the Department of Norfolk Elections, Department of Elections, and Department of Elections. Let me see if I can do this. I was trying to see if I can, if I was able to let you in on. I guess I have to do it on my phone to allow people to come in and talk, because I think that's important, and we hear you guys' voices in the morning. That you all are able to join us as we walk down. And one school board made sure to put it on the agenda. Yeah, that's a thing. And then I've also had complaints about the agenda, right, for council. Like, how do I put things on the agenda? How do we do that? That is a direct question for your council members. Like, how do we get things on the agenda? But your quality of life is set by those individuals, and I need you guys to engage, right? And I don't get frustrated when I say, hey, I'm gonna need you to talk to this person or this person, because this is a team sport. The way the local, federal, and state levels work together. Okay, let's get to it. Speaking of which, right, there is a poll worker shortage, right? So not only do we need you guys to know who's on the ballot, consider this: if you have the opportunity to put in your PTO for election day, and I'm about to check to make sure that I say the right date, that election day. Please, we need more poll workers. Several things have happened. Poll workers are aging out. Right? Like getting older and saying, I can't really do this, retiring from it. I meet so many poll workers that say, I've been doing this for 20 years and I've been doing it. This is and they take such pride and ownership of the function and the operation of that particular polling station. We need folks. And it doesn't have to, I'm not going to say just young folks. I mean, I would love to see some younger folks, but we just need people. We need citizen-minded, civics-minded folks to just get to the poll. It is a paid opportunity, right? But we need you guys, right? We need to bring that stuff to I mean that. So I'm laughing at Miss Charlene. She said, just because other localities start something doesn't mean that we need to bring it to Norfolk, that Northern Virginia stuff. Yeah. I to sort of put a bow on that, there was a bill that came across the last session about the recall method, about making it more difficult for citizens to recall because of some things that were going on in Northern Virginia. And the patron was a colleague of mine, and I asked them, that process is actually working, right? And it was about what they said was, well, people in their place, they're just getting recalled for the sake of being recalled, and with little merit, and people are mad. But I said, did anybody lose their job? Like, did anybody get taken off the ballot? No. It's a headache. It's a headache, but it's it's folks exercising their right. And I know that they're getting it to be mean. They're getting it to, it's costing elected officials. They're doing all these things. I so understand that. But we don't make the process harder for citizens, right? Like, we don't start making it so that, citizens can't exercise that right because of something that's happening in one place. So, like, I totally understand. It was hard to have that conversation, but I said, I can't make it more difficult for people to recall, because it's not easy. It's currently not easy to recall or take up an elected official up on a recall. So, like, we're not gonna. Yes. And Isabel says, who can take a day off their regular job, right? Though, yeah. And that's why I'm saying, like, it's going to take some foresight and planning if you are able to take that time, if you're able to take a day off to work the polls, then you can. That's why most times we're seeing folks working the polls that are our elders, that are, retired, or, have the opportunity or the privilege to be able to do that, because it is just that. Yeah. Here, we don't ban books, we don't yell at trans kids. Hope. Yeah, yes, absolutely. But contact Stephanie Isles is our registrar, and we need that. Oh, and I did see this, speaking of that local government piece, right? Like, Tidewater Drive is the most dangerous road for pedestrians in the city, and listen, I second that emotion, right? Like, the other day we were just talking about, I just received the opportunity to join the Elizabeth River Trail, the Elizabeth River Trail Foundation, their board. And we took some walks, and we were talking about the Elizabeth River Trail and how it's for everyone. However, its connectivity is only going to be, can only go so far, right? The way the city is set up, it's not a trail that we can make go throughout the city, but there are other opportunities for trails and spaces for people to sort of cross the city without having to interact with that particular trail. So I would love it, and if you all are interested, if you're a person like me, like my kids, my family, we love trail walking, okay? Like, when we're all over the Hampton roads, and when we look at the streets, I have a heart attack knowing that my son's got to go cross Tidewater Drive to get to his job. It causes me strain. I wish he would go the other way, but he still has to cross Tidewater Drive at some point by bike. But these trail systems, the gentleman who runs the ERT brought up to me, hey, like, in your neighborhood, there's some abandoned train tracks that run about a mile from back in the neighborhood all the way to another neighborhood down the way, right? Like that. We have to stop looking at these as missed opportunities, because there's a lot of money that came down from the federal government to the state for trails, and the Commonwealth of Virginia just built a Department of Trails, right? Like, this is real. So it is an opportunity. Yes. Okay. So he says some of the localities just start. All right. Not quite yet, but I'm still here holding on to his unchained hands. I don't know what you mean by that. If you're needing support, I see Meshach. Okay, Sean says, please, can I get a job? If you need support with that, let me know. I don't know if you're local or where you are, but there are resources here to help you get employment. If you just send us a little message, and we'll send you over, get you the Norfolk Works. Please, again, this is you guys' time, so if you do have questions, comments, or concerns, please put them in the CHAT in the chat, because we are certified doers this morning, making it happen. But if you are looking for employment, I am telling you, like, we can get you the information to Norfolk Works. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just go ahead and put it in here, and to get you on the way to to getting employment. I'm going to copy this address and put it here. But if there are any other questions, I'm putting this in here for Meshach. Okay. All right. And if you're not in the city of Norfolk, let me know, and then we can course correct from there. Okay. All right. I see a question in the chat. Right. Let's see. Okay. Question. I saw an article that many states never fully spend money allocated for feds during COVID. How can we see the money allocated for VA and what was actually spent? Oh, that's something that we can actually get. Let's look. The state level, you can definitely look at. We know how much was allocated. Well, we know how much was allocated to Norfolk, but let me look and see. There was a list of how much each state. Excuse me, I'm saying a lot of us. That's not good. There was a list of how much each state received ARPA funds. So if you just keep me honest, I will get that information to you, over to you. And I'm saying that because I don't have the clear answer as to where exactly to go to get that information, but I know it is available. I would say state fiscal allocations. I'm pulling up right now. Goodness, all these this morning. I am pulling up the information on how much money we received. I'm pretty sure it is the Department of Treasury, because when I was sort of pinging at the ARPA money, that's where I stayed. Like the Department of Treasury had all the information about ARPA, who was getting what, how the money was spent, and all. Not how the money was spent, how the federal government allocated the money, how you can get support with allocating that money. The unfortunate part, the thing I worry about the most right now, with funds, and not just ARPA funds, but with funds in general, there are opportunities at the state level for our locality to receive a lot of different types of funds. The thing about it is that much of this money is it's a grant process. Some of it is a grant process. Some of it only the city can request it. And I can tell you this on several fronts. What we're working with here, and I think that's a conversation for, myself as a state legislator to have with the local government, is when this money opportunity comes, we are not necessarily in place to seize that if we don't have grant writers on staff, grant seekers on staff. When you think about the basketball court that they just got down in Berkeley, that wasn't initiated inside of the local government. That was an outside organization initiating that. And so it's really important to understand is that we're in a space and place, just with trying to get funds to us down here to Norfolk. We're in a space and place where we don't necessarily have the human capital to seize a lot of these opportunities, and there's a heavy reliance on people on the outside, nonprofits and things, making aware of these things. And even if we make our locality aware of these things, do they have the folks that can go out and seize them? Because grant writing is both a science and an art. So I think that is a big concern moving forward, particularly for me, as I think about what kinds of money, what kinds of things that we can do, because our job, and at least I feel like part of my job is to improve the quality of life of Virginians, specifically Virginians in Norfolk, first in the 89th district and then in the city of Norfolk. So how do we get ourselves to a place where we can seize some of this money? Because that is not the case right now. And we've got a lot of missed opportunities. So you may be, I'm saying that out loud because you may be a little sad about what we're missing, what we're not getting. Any other questions? Any other questions? And for clarity, Isabel, I want to make sure that you're looking for the information on the Commonwealth specifically. I see Vince, thank you so much for putting the information in there for the city of Norfolk. I just want to make sure that we're getting all of what is being asked. This is your time. We have 5 more minutes, guys. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and put them in the chat. Put them in the chat. Be good. I'm double checking myself. And thank you. I see, Vince, you have been in using these different news sources. Yeah, the Commonwealth will show. We know how much the city's got, but we just don't necessarily know how we won't be able to find how each city spent their money unless we go to those respective cities and see how they spent their money. It gets a little hard to see. So what Isabel said, you guys, is and she's looking for the Commonwealth specifically because it's hard to follow, because the big idea comes out like ARPA, she says, but how it impacts us locally gets a little difficult to see precisely. Yeah, I can understand that. So you want to say right now, looking at the big picture, and when we talk about the biggest thing coming up now is going to be infrastructure money when it hits the state. Here's going to be the biggest gap, and I'm saying this out loud now so that you guys can hear this and you know this and understand this is why elections matter. The new infrastructure money is going to have, the big picture is that we had I don't know if they're still calling it Build Back Better or what they're calling it now. The federal government said we're going to spend money on infrastructure. That's real. We're going to do it. Boom, 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 boom. Right? It's happening. The issue with that, right? The issue with that is that there are stipulations on using the infrastructure money. There are some equity requirements. There's some environmental requirements. There's all these different things. And we currently have an executive branch that does not believe in environmental issues, equity things. And so they're not going to use a lot of that infrastructure money. And that's what what I'm sort of hearing from some of the folks is like, hey, Virginia may leave a lot of money on the table as it pertains to being able to do a lot of these infrastructure projects or use infrastructure money, because there are requirements that don't align with the beliefs of the current administration. Now we will see, like time is going to tell all the things, right? It's going to tell the things, but being mindful that ideology of not believing that there's an actual environmental issue and then not getting money to do the things that we can do, that is a whole petty party that is going to affect all of us. Isabel said, maybe it seems petty, but yes, and I'm going to finish reading what you said here as we sort of close out a bit. Maybe it seems petty, but if ever we could hope to have amazing tech schools, now's the time. We just got a ton of funding for distance learning. Why are school buildings still having their internet cut out within the school walls? Seems like this should be a problem we should pay to fix. If not now, I'm doubtful when it will ever happen. And I concur that what we've just seen is a once in a several generations opportunity. Right? This is not something that's going to happen in my kids' generation, probably not in their kids' generation. It was a real opportunity. And what we don't want, and this is where your advocacy comes in. I started this conversation saying, hey, you guys, remember that there are local elections. Remember that there are these things going on. And it does boil down to how your local government decides to spend that money. Now, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of back and forth. And I'll be the first to say, I'm probably as pissed as you are about how the process went. I tell my close friend, I kind of friends, I have PTSD talking about ARPA, okay? Because I was getting looked at like I was crazy in May and April and May, when I was like, ARPA, y'all know this money? ARPA. Everybody's like, who? Sherpa. and like, hey, we need to be. What we don't want to see happen is that this once in a generation money continues to be put towards operation costs and not opportunities that we will never. So to Elizabeth's point, is that there are some opportunities that could be funded that will yield greater fruit in the long run than study honing in on operational costs. And to put another explanation point on this, guys, is that having the ability to be able to get some of this money coming down outside of, and this is outside of ARPA, because that ARPA ship, man, it has set its sails, it is off to the races, and we kind of have an idea how that's going to be spent. When we're working from a huge deficit, I think we just kind of have to work differently. And to Miss Charlene's point, most of the schools here are over 50 years old, and we're not made for what's happening in the 21st century, which is why when you know better, you do better. We do have to do some things a little bit differently, right? There's a way, right? There's a way. Let's not leave on a low note, right? Let's not leave on a low note, especially when it comes to what we're capable of doing. The beautiful thing about knowing that there is a great need, and you know this, across the Commonwealth, folks are talking about school construction, capital project, like it's a big thing. It's a big thing for all of us, because, right, that what we call it is PMS, and nope, that's not menstrual, that is preventative maintenance systems, is that we have to do better with preventative maintenance systems and keep up. But in the same token, just as we can be really sad about our schools not being not being up to code, not being where we know they need to be, our life has altered technologically in a way that allows us to problem solve outside and inside of that building. There is a way, right? There is a way. So like what I don't want to see us do, right? Certified doers, what I don't want to see you all do is get discouraged because of the brick wall that is separating you from opportunities, when what we know is current technologies allows us to have some connectivity on the other side of that wall, even if we can't see it, right? Like that is, the internet is a thing. And if you are a child of my generation, right, I did not grow up with a computer in the house or anything like that. My father came home with a laptop, and I was like, wow, I was like, can I play Minecraft, right? The most fascinating thing about us as a species is our adaptability, our ability to manipulate, right? Like, whatever the hump is, especially if it's a technological hump, we can get over that. It is going to cost. It may cost human capital. It may cost, them dollars capital, but there is a way to get over it. The walls will fall, but the learning will not. The learning won't stop. The opportunities will not stop. So just keep that in mind as we start thinking about, if we put it in our mind that, we're not going to get the money to fix our schools, all of our schools the way they need to be fixed, not in the next 10 years. What is it that we can do in the next 10 years that fills that gap, that allows our children, our little citizens, to be in safe schools, right? Like where we're not afraid that the roof is going to cave in on them, but still have access to the opportunities where this is a part of their story, and they can work like we're working generationally, like we've been working here. So for a lot of folks here have been working generationally to get stuff done, but they've still seized opportunities. So I'm going to quit rambling. We are at 29 minutes and 32 seconds. We're doers, and doers get more stuff done. I think that's Home Depot. but we just happen to be certified. So let us take this weekend and let's think about a problem. I want you to think about that, and let's come back on Tuesday. What problem do you see as endless? Right? Tell me, and I want to know on Tuesday, what is your endless problem, and then let's start thinking about how we work around that, because there's a way. And let's invite some of our younger counterparts in on this. Cool beans. All right. Well, I will be at the ports today, all day today. I'm going to be in Newport News at the ports, sort of doing all this good stuff. It should be a good week. I'm checking my schedule just to make sure. I see asking like, what are you doing? What's your schedule? What am I doing? Okay, hold on. Let me see. What is my schedule? It tells me what to do. So this weekend, I'll tell you this, Friday I'm going school shopping. Pray for me. I'm going school clothes shopping for my little citizens. And so that should be fun. Saturday, there's an annual kickball tournament and fish fry at Ballantyne Park at 4 p.m. I will be at that during the day. So the United Focus CUF's first, it says first annual, y'all, we can't be doing that, inaugural kickball tournament and fish fry Saturday from 11 to 4 p.m. at Ballantyne Park. The second thing I got going on is I'm going to a meeting for the Federation of the Blind. I'm really excited about that. A great organization working with folks that are unable to see. I'm going to get a haircut, and then I think that's it. A lot of call time, y'all. If you want to be honest, a lot of call time. I'm out here dialing for dollars, trying to get it together so that we're set up for next session. It's the suckiest part of the job, but it's the one that we do. And I invite you guys, if you're able to chip in $10, $5, a little bit of bucks a month, I will value that. We are expanding our staff, as you guys know, like trying to do better. Constituent services have been slacking with the Kraken, but we're trying to stay above water. You guys have a lot of questions, a lot of needs, and you deserve good service. So we're gonna do that, and that's on me, right? I take full responsibility for that. But I'm really excited and grateful, as I said, as always, to be of service to you all. And I am hopeful that if I don't see you this weekend, that I see you all, on the flip side. Donation link, I believe that, oh, thank you for saying that, because you said link. let me do several things before I go. Number one, I'm putting it here. Oh no, I messed it up. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, go ahead and do that. The newsletter, I think, is going to go out this week. Certified Doer Summer School is going to wrap up next week. So even if you haven't been to all the other Certified Doer Summer Schools, please go ahead and come to Certified Doer Summer School. Okay, come see what your fellow Hampton Roadians are doing, the bills and the ideas that they are processing, the progress that they're making on their issues, and then donate. There should be a link in the comments. I want to say that there's a link. I want to say that there's a link in the comments, but if you haven't, thank you, Isabel, I appreciate you. If you have not been to the website, it's delegatejackieGlass.com, and there's an opportunity to donate there. We appreciate all of it. I will, again, be as transparent as possible and tell you where the money's going. We've got some interns coming in. We're interviewing some more folks for our next legislative section. Tuesday, I will be able to sort of share with you where we are, generally broad speaking, because I don't want to talk very specifically about the bills that we're doing yet, because I don't want them to run into any problems until I've workshopped them with stakeholders. But it's a great opportunity. That's why I was saying we're getting folks ready to work our bills. what will happen and why I ask now is just for situational awareness, is that I'll probably have until maybe October or November to get all of my bills in, and then I start preparing for session. My goal, to be quite honest, is that in October, once I have all my bills in, I can take a weekend and take my family camping and get my office ready in Richmond for January 1st, right? By January 1st, because we're going to have some really special, and I need y'all to stay tuned because we're doing something really special in the office. We're doing something really special in Richmond, and I want you there. But once I go into session, that's why I'm doing pushing and saying, hey, donate what you can now, is that once I go into session, I cannot fundraise. It's illegal for us to do that while we're in session. For those times when it's illegal, cannot do it. It's wrong. When I come out of session in February, I will be getting ready for my primary. So our new district, and I told you guys, make sure you check out, I think Vince put it in the chat, the air.norfolk.gov. Make sure you verify your congressional districts for this November election, and also your council wards, because some of you up in the Ward 1 and 2 area that may have had a change in who your elected official is. Norfolk should be whole. We should all be congressional district 3. So there's that. But yeah. Yep, so I will be on the ground. So I got to get prepared, because I'm almost sure that I will be in a primary, if not with another incumbent. If somebody that just may show up and say, hey, it's a new district, I want to give it a go. So we got goals over here. We also need human capital. So if you're in the business of like, hey, Jack, I want to call 5 of my friends and tell them that you're doing a good job and that they should support you, because this is a team sport, let's go. I'm with it. But at any rate, I am grateful for your service this morning. I hope that you guys are able to have a great day. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, don't worry, Isabel. And I'll say this, because of that, Isabel, I keep saying Isabel because I know it's Isabel, that I will probably start doing some record Tuesday evening, Thursday mornings. I think that may be a lot more helpful for folks who want to catch it live. We're workshopping it. I'm just trying to stay consistent for the sake of you all for the summer. I don't want to, I don't want to change your schedule up. Okay? All right, I'm going to get myself together. You all do great, be great. Don't expect anything that you're not willing to inspect, and make it a great day.